This is my 12 volt 50 amp lithium battery for my kayak. It's a LifePO4 and it's dead. And guess what? We're gonna fix this thing for less than $20 right here on Pro-Am Outdoors. Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Pro-Am Outdoors. Today I got a really cool DIY project for you. My 50 amp battery went out on me. And this is a LifePO4 battery. And this thing works extremely well, but guess what? All of a sudden I was charging it the other day and it was showing 0 on the post. So I did some research and found out that 9 times out of 10, it's not the cells of the battery, it's the actual BMS, the battery management system. So I watched some other YouTubers and they said, hey, take it apart, check it out, put it on a tester and find out. Well, that's what we're going to do today. I've already taken this apart, but I'm going to show you how to take this apart and how you can fix a $150 LifePO4 lithium battery for 20 bucks. Bring it back to new. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and plug up this right here on top of the battery and show you why this thing's not working. As you can see, it's off right now. And all I got to do is plug it up. So let's go ahead and turn on and see what we get. It's just not recognizing the battery, that's the thing. And see, it's still showing off. For some reason, it's just blinking and showing off. And so that's why I wanted to check this out. So what we've done is we're going to go ahead and cut this top off. So let's go ahead and put this to the side. Now on these type batteries, you can usually get under the lip a little bit right here and pry it all the way around and the top will pop off, but you got to take the top off. I could not do it on this one. I've wound up having to use this tool right here, which is one of them vibrating cutters. Once you're able to cut all the way around this, or I will put the screwdriver under and crack it. This lid right here is going to come off, and what you're going to find is this is going to be tightly wrapped. It's going to have all this foam blocks in here. What you want to do is try to pry these foam blocks out like this. This doesn't matter if it's a 50 amp, 100 amp, whatever. Then you're just going to cut the wrap on it. This here is actually shrink wrap. Once you get that done, what you want to do is be able to work this thing back and forth, because it's pretty tight in there, until you can get it going out of it. There you go. All right, we'll put the box to the side, and this is fiberglass on here. So what you want to do is take that fiberglass off. Okay, so I'm just going to take a knife and I'm just going to slice it down here. And let's see, get it here, here. I just want to be very careful where I'm doing it at, because I don't want to lose the fiberglass. I want to keep that. Okay, got it here and here. Okay, so what we're going to do is take this apart. Let's see if we can. There's some more tape on there. They tape these things up like crazy. There we go. Let's see if we can't slide this out now. Well, there's more tape there. Get that tape off. All right. Yeah. So here's the thing, 9 times out of 10, it's your BMS, not the batteries. These are called cells. There's 4 cells on this one. This makes it an S4. That's 12 volt series 4, okay? 9 times out of 10, it's not the batteries or the cells. They're usually pretty good. Usually it's this is the BMS. It's a battery management system. Okay, so let's go ahead and test that and see if we're getting anything out of these. And I'm just going to use my charger. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and hook up to the positive, because the red positive and everything else is still the same. So you just hook it up and now you're able to test all these different points here. Let's see, I'm just going to hook it up here. What I'm going to do is just touch it to the main here, bypassing this, just doing direct, and see if we get any voltage. Oh, there it goes right there. And it's already charging 1 amps, 15.8. There it is, 13.6 volts working. So that tells me the cells are good. The BMS is something wrong with it. So let's go ahead and test that theory. This is still on. So that was negative. Has to go through the BMS right here with the negatives and then back out. So the back out goes to your power. So that still should be the same thing to the BMS here. Give it a second. Yep, it's starting already. 1.2 amps, 13.6 volts right there. Okay, so now let's go over here and check it. Still saying off, and it keeps blinking. So what does that tell you? It's this BMS is bad. So these BMSs you can get for about anywhere between 15 to 20, some 30, according to how high of that BMS and how much fan power you want to get. But I wanted to go ahead and replace this BMS. And what I went and done is I went online and I found this on Amazon, and it was for around 20 bucks. This is a 4S BMS system, and it lays out pretty much the same. It's a little bit smaller, so I'm worried about that, but newer technology, whatever. What this does, it has the low temp, high temp sensor on it. So does this one. This one here is 4S 50 amp LifePO4 battery system. This one here, it says it numbers, but BS4 50 amp. So it's the same thing. Basically, it's so much the same. You got the C connector here. Boom. All I got to do is solder this to this one. These two leads to this. Pull this and replace it in. That's it. So we just need to take this apart and pop this on there. There's people that throwing these batteries away. That's $150, $200 battery. Some of them it's more expensive. We're gonna see if we can't fix this with this battery management system. So the thing I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. We're not gonna get rid of this lead. We just need to cut these right here and then pull this. I wanna cut it as close as possible so I can reuse this. There's plenty of wire on here. I'm just gonna cut it as close as possible. Just like that. Get that one out of the way. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Just go ahead and cut this as close as possible. Try not to touch anything else. And there's plenty of wire so I can resolder to the new BMS. Now the next thing we need to do is this part right here. I'm almost positive that joins right in there. This is what makes it 4S. It's a balancing system. This here balances each one. These wires go to these cells and balances them. So we're gonna just try to wiggle that loose. It came right out. We're gonna go ahead and test to make sure this is the same one. I'm almost positive. Yes, it snaps right in perfect. We don't even have to cut any of these wires. We're just gonna go ahead and remove this off of here. It's glued on with fiberglass. Because all this is just silicone. That's all it is. Look at there, and it comes right up. Boom, that's it. The BMS is removed. Still got this part right here, which has got this sticky tape on it. And then what we're gonna do is go ahead and put this BMS right here in the same spot. Okay, but we gotta go ahead and solder this. I'm not gonna solder over top of the battery. We just need to do it separately. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and just strip this for now. The best thing, the way to do soldering is use some soldering flux. And we'll just do it like this to get on there really good. You just gotta feed it. There we go, and that's what you want it to look like, making a dot. So let's turn it around and get the bigger lead here. And this one's gonna take a little bit. Get enough flux on there. That should be plenty of solder on there to do what we gotta do. So this is gonna be C to C here. This is on the back one, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and solder this part right now. Go ahead and put some solder onto the board itself. It's not pretty, but it's soldered on there. It's pretty solid. Yeah, it's got it all the way through the back side there, so it's good, solid. Okay, so the next step we need to do is solder the other side. Now we need to get this on top of the battery. And we're gonna put that board underneath. Plug in the balancing lead, and I'm gonna get my pops to help me because I can't hold all this at the same time. And there it is. That's a good solid one there. Okay, now we got one more to do. All right, we got that soldered, and we're gonna go ahead and check it and see if it works. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and put the charger on and see if we can't recognize the battery, because everything should be hooked up working right, hopefully. And look at there, as it's doing now, this battery's working. It's charging good, so it is working. That's all you need to do is change out that BMS. So we're gonna put all this back together, because now it's working. So how are we gonna put it back together? I want to be able to put this back on here, but I'm not using this two-sided sticky tape they had there. I'm actually gonna use this stuff right here, is this foam stuff, give it a little more cushion. It's still two-sided sticky. I'm just put one here like this, and then I'm just gonna put another one right here, and it'll lift it up and give it a little more cushion, a little more shock resistance, which will be good. We'll just take that off, and then what we'll do is just place this on here, and right in the center, where just like where it was before, we're just gonna give it a little push and hold, and there it is. It's on there good and solid, and we're gonna go ahead and pack this up. And it just had packing tape around it. We're going to just go ahead and do the same thing with the packing tape, just like they had. So I'm just going to go ahead and slide this into here. And that's where it shows right there how this was. This, I'm going to go ahead and put this out right there. Do what they did, just had it packing taped up. I'll just do a little bit at a time right now just to get it like this. All right, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to make that waterproof again by welding that plastic. All right, now that we got that all packed up, we're going to go ahead and put this inside. Let's try to finish it up. There she goes. There it goes. There we go. It's down in there now. Now let's just try to put this in there. Like that. Okay, and then this just came with some foam blocks that keeps it tied up against it. I'm gonna put a little sticky on there like that. Try to get it to go on right here. Right there like that. That keeps it nice and tight. That one tight, this one tight. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and put this together. Okay, so that's how that's gonna go. Now, how we're gonna get this down is I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of heat welding to this. Okay, so I got some bar clamps right here. I have an issue because of the box. I cut the lid off. It is wide enough. So I went ahead and bought some super glue. Now, the best thing you want to do is try to get underneath and pry these two apart. I couldn't do it on this one. It was glued too well, so I decided to cut it. So what I want to do is I'm gonna try to super glue this lid together. Let's go ahead and get the super glue going. I hope it doesn't stick too fast. I'm going to do a really nice bead on it. Hopefully I can get it all the way good. That way it won't be no missing in it. All right. So now what I want to do, let's go ahead and try to line it up here just a little bit, where it needs to be, and we're going to clamp this sucker together. I don't want to over clamp it either, because this is plastic. I don't want to crack it. There, now I'm seeing that glue squeeze out. Give it a good twist, tighten this one up. All right. Let's just let that do its work for now. Okay, so this has been set in just a few minutes. You know, super glue don't take very long to dry, but I wanted to make sure because it's the gel and it usually takes a little longer. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and weld a little bit on each side. I'm using the soldering iron, and if nobody's ever seen this before, what you do is you just take the plastic and you just want to circle it, and you're welding that plastic over with each other. That's all you're doing. You're just doing circles like this, and you're welding it, and you're really creating a really good seal and weld. I'm probably just gonna weld the corners and sides right now, just to make it stick, and then take the clamps apart. All right, it's been a few minutes. I've got some places that are welded already. Looks like it's gonna hold up. Let's take the clamps apart and see what we got. I'm sure that all together it's gonna be pretty tough, because the super glue, the weld, it's already feeling like it's solid as a rock. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and work on the side here and weld that part up right there really good. You gotta mix the two sides together in the plastic to get the weld and bond together. All right, so that's one side. We'll just continue on around and do the rest of it. Okay, I'm still working on it. I done went around the other sides of it, and that should be it. It's not a pretty job, but this is going in my kayak inside, and I don't need it to be pretty. I need it to be functional. Now that's the way it's going to look right there. It's not great, but it's solid as a rock. And let's go out and test it out on my kayak and see how she runs. We'll go ahead and take these off. Let's go ahead and put the positive on. Hopefully we got everything right. It should kick on. So before, this kayak trolling motor battery wouldn't work. And as you've seen, had no volts coming out of the leads here. So I've replaced the BMS. That seems to fix the problem. This here should work. We're finna go to the back of the boat and turn the kayak trolling motor on and see what happens. Okay, so I got my controls right here. This steers my kayak. But let's go ahead and turn it on, see what happens. Hopefully it works. Look at there, it works just fine now. Wasn't working before, working just fine. So I'm gonna go around and test the tilt and trim on it, because this one actually has tilt and trim. I got a button over here. There it goes. Push the right button. Yep, tilt and trim works. It looks ugly, but it's sealed. It works great. So if you got a trolling motor battery or any kind of lithium LifePO4 battery that just quits working, not taking a charge, take it apart, test the leads on each cell and see if it's still holding charge. It may be just the BMS went out on you. So check that out for 20 bucks. I fixed my trolling motor battery and we're ready to hit the water again. Hey, this is Marcus Moros with Pro Am Outdoors. We'll see you on the next DIY.